What's up, you beautiful people? Welcome to another video. I want to share with you one of the coolest concepts that I've come across in a long time, and it's born from a book I read. This was probably close to a decade ago. It's a really good book, actually. It's called Ghost in the Wires by Kevin Mitnick. And what it's about is this was the world's most wanted hacker back in like the 80s and the 90s. And he just tells his stories. He tells about how he did the thing. And what I want to share from here is how we can take his lessons of hacking into the world's most secure infrastructures, how we can take that same information and apply it to our mind, to our lives, to our businesses, so that we can maximize our potential. Because the truth is, like right now, your brain is being hacked. And it's probably not being hacked by yourself with intention, which means somebody else is doing it. So let me lay the groundwork here a little bit. Kevin Mitnick, one of the things, the biggest surprise that I took away from this book is like when I was younger, I had this romanticized conception of what hacking is based off of like the movie Hackers, right? Where it's just these, cool countercultural rebels with laptops and they're quickly typing and they're hacking into the mainframe, right? And they're doing all the cool matrixy like coding things. But that's really not what hacking is in 90% of cases. What Kevin shows is like the easiest way to hack into a system isn't through the machine, it's through the people. And so what he would do was something called social engineering, which was literally, instead of trying to hack into the mainframe, he would just call the front desk, the IT department, pretending to be like a new frazzled employee and being like, oh, I forgot my password, or I lost it, I don't have it. Like, can you just give me a new one? And more times than not, the person would just give him the password. And they'd be like, cool, didn't even need to hack the frame. I just got the password because the security guard gave it to me. Or I got into the mainframe because the security guard just let me in because I pretended to be something I wasn't. And he wanted, to be helpful. So the same ideas then apply to ourselves and our lives. Is like it's easier for us to hack the person if we want to live in alignment with our greatness and like eke out all the potential that we can from ourselves. Instead of trying to like hack the machinery of your body, of your life, of yourself, I want you to think about hacking the person, the mind. And so there's 5 things in particular that I want to break down in this video. 5 things that I got from this boy, Kevin Mitnick, on how to hack your brain. So the first idea is something called the Hawthorne effect. Back in like the 1920s, this company, I think it was like the Hawthorne Electrical Company or something like that. They wanted to do this study to figure out, would their employees be more productive if they turned the lights up brighter or if the lights were turned down dimmer? And so they did both conditions. They did a shift with the lights really bright. They did a shift with the lights really low. And they kind of thought, they went into it with like a preconceived notion that the brighter lights was probably going to lead to increased productivity. But something really weird happened, is that both shifts were more productive. Both the dimmer lights and the brighter lights were more productive than the control variable, which was just regular lighting. This really confused people. They're like, okay, so what's happening here? Well, turns out this is what we call the Hawthorne effect, which is simply people behave differently when they know they're being observed. It was simply as that. Like the fact that the people knew in the bright light experiment and in the dim light experiment that they were being observed by dudes in lab coats with clipboards made them work different. They showed up and they worked different. And so the thing here that you can do to hack your brain is to make a public commitment, is to make it so that you enlist social accountability, peer pressure, get other people onto your side. So what I want to challenge you to do today is take the one thing that you're trying to do. Like you probably have some big goal in your life. What is the one domino, the goal that you're pursuing that you want people to hold you accountable to? Like make that statement. They will now be watching you and you will perform differently. So do that on social media, make an Instagram post, do it on YouTube, make a video, go call your best friend, say, hey, here's the thing that I'm going after. I want you to, hold me accountable and like check in every week and see how I'm doing on this. Enlist the Hawthorne effect. It's a very powerful principle. It's one that the hackers used to great effect, which is just simply like, if you show up and you're looking over somebody's shoulder, they're going to behave very, very differently than if they don't think they're being observed. All right. The second idea, something called the Pygmalion effect. This is a really cool one. It simply says that like your expectations become your reality, or rather the expectations other people have of you become your expectations, which eventually become your reality. So if you had a teacher and you were like me, I had severe ADHD. And so growing up, I was told that like I was never going to be able to sit still, face forward, and like pay attention. So like, and maybe it's true. Maybe it's true that I couldn't do those things. But you know what? Like, I've had a pretty successful chess career. I've had a pretty successful entrepreneurial career doing things that like are pretty damn boring, pretty damn monotonous. And I can sit down and do things. It's just in that environment, I couldn't for whatever reason. And I think a lot of it at that point was simply them putting the expectation on me that that wasn't the thing that I could do. And so their expectations for me were low. And so I lived up to those low expectations. But the reverse is also true. When teachers or coaches or mentors, parents, when they set high expectations for kids, those kids tend to live up to those expectations. And so the question that you have to ask yourself is like, how can I engineer higher expectations for myself in my own life? And so like, the thing I think about a lot with this is that your story is your ceiling. Like the story you tell yourself about who you are, what you're capable of, that ultimately is going to be the container to which you expand. The bigger the story you tell yourself about yourself, the more space you have to expand into. The smaller story, that's not for people like me, or I come from a family like this, or I have this neurodegenerative thing. Like it's not for us, right? Like tell yourself a small story, you're going to live a small life. Tell yourself a big story, you're going to live a big life. And that's the Pygmalion effect in a nutshell. Kevin Mitnick with the hackers, like this was so cool. Like you just give people the expectation of like, dude, you seem like you're like a really helpful person. I really appreciate that. You're so kind. I appreciate you taking a couple of minutes out of your day just to take my call and like help me work through this. That's so, I know you have a million other things on your plate. So like, it's not lost on me that you're giving me this. And I really value it. And like kind people like you are just the best, right? Boom. I'll give you an expectation to live up to. You're kind, you're helpful. And, now you're going to give me all the things that I want. Okay, let's go to number 3, loss aversion. So loss aversion is simply the idea popularized by Daniel Kahneman in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, that we take losses harder than we feel the positive benefits of an equivalent win. So the test that they did, or the example, was it hurts more to lose $100 in a bet than it feels good to win $100 in a bet. So all things being equal, would you rather win $100 or lose $100? It's pretty much the same thing, like the net effect, right? But like the losing $100 hurts twice as much as just getting $100. Okay. So the way that you think about this is you need to reframe inaction in your life as the loss, right? Because the truth is, like most dreams, they die of inaction, not wrong action. And so you need to frame in your mind every moment that you spend not making the hard decision, not taking action in alignment with your goals, that is the loss. So like if you're sitting here and you're still spinning your wheels, you still haven't launched that business, or you still haven't like done the outreach of the thing, like you're losing right now. And you need to reframe that the times when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, that is the painful loss. It's not that you're going to get a no. It's not that you're going to like fail when it launches and nobody buys the thing. That's not the loss. The loss is the fact that you're just sitting here and you still haven't done that thing. Kevin Mitnick in Ghost in the Mars, like this is so interesting, right? Like if you call the IT department and you're pretending to be a frazzled new employee who's lost a thing, like most people, like the thing that they don't want to lose in that case is like the ability as a senior employee to be helpful to somebody else. Like, oh, or let's take it like this. If I'm a new employee and I call you up in the IT department and I'm like, hey, your boss, Cindy, said I should reach out to you to get the password for this thing because you're the go-to and you're the gatekeeper on this. Now the person's like, oh, Cindy never told me this. Like most people don't want to pretend like they're out of the loop. Like they want to be helpful. They don't want to lose any of the prestige or the seniority that comes. And so they're going to be like, oh yeah, Cindy told me about that. I am that person. So let me help you get this thing. Right. So like, case in point, how Kevin Mitnick would use loss aversion. Let's go to Parkinson's law number 4. It simply says that work expands to fill the time allotted. This originally was written as satire, kind of satirizing bureaucratic business departments and how we give ourselves so much time to do a thing and the work just seems to take exactly that much time every single. And this usually has a negative implication within businesses because we give ourselves too much time. But you can use this to your benefit by shrinking timelines. By instead of saying let's get this done by end of week, saying let's try and get this done by end of day, or even faster, let's try and get this done in the next hour. Like what's stopping us from getting this thing launched in the next hour? So whatever you are doing right now, like whatever's next on your to-do list, I would encourage you to take that item and say, what would it look like to get this done in half the time? I've allotted 30 minutes. What would it take to get this done in 15 minutes? And then set a timer for 15 minutes and see if you can actually get through it. Chances are good you're either going to get it done in 15 minutes or you're going to get a lot further along than you would have if you had given yourself the full 30 minutes. So Parkinson's law decreased the amount of time that we have to do the thing. Another great example from like the hacker world is just compressing. Hey, we originally needed this by the end of the week, but I was just talking to Cindy, your boss, and my boss, Doug, and they said that they need to get this by the end of the day. So now everything's accelerated. Everybody's moving really fast and it's breaking stuff, but I need this in the next hour. Otherwise, we're going to be not going to be able to get this done by the end of the day, which is the new initiative. So now the other person's feeling the pressure and they're like, yeah, let me get you this thing real quickly. Now, I'm not saying that you should use any of these techniques from our hacker boy, Kevin, for nefarious purposes. I'm telling you to use them to hack yourself. So next up, last but not least, is something called the recency bias. This is all about the fact that we tend to overweight the thing that is right in front of us or the thing that just happened. And it tends to replace the data that preceded it. So the way that you can use this information is, a lot of times we'll have a bad day and then we'll just chalk it up as like, oh, my life is bad. Or we'll have one good day and they're like, oh, I figured it all out. My life is so good. And the truth is that it's neither of that. It's neither good or bad. It's just one single data point and a long stream of data points. But what we can do with this is really leverage the idea that what we're putting into our minds at the moment before we go to do a thing influences how we show up for that thing. So if you start your day by reading some inspirational book and it fills your mind and it makes you feel expansive and feel really awesome, that's going to have a pretty powerful effect as you move into the first hours of your day. In the same way, like if the very last thing that you read before you go to bed is also very big and expansive, then you're going to go to bed that way. But let's say you're about to go into a meeting, like you're going into a high tension conversation, a negotiation or something like that. What are you consuming in the moment before you go in there that gets you into the right frame? Maybe if it's a negotiation, maybe you're watching Gary Ross, something like that. Maybe you're watching something around negotiating and that's like getting you in the right mindset. Or you maybe got to go fire somebody. So the thing that you're listening to before that is like how to go and have a hard conversation and feeling like I'm the type of person who is courageous and can have these hard conversations because that's what it means to be a leader and to grow my team, right? Whatever the thing is that you're about to do, what is the thing that you could do right before it that puts you into the right mind state that then is the data point your brain will overweight. In the same way, Kevin Mitnick could do this with people as he walks up to them and they know that they're supposed to get approval. They're supposed to go through this protocol before doing XYZ thing. But if you show up and I have a letter and it looks like it's Cindy, your boss's letterhead and has this information on it and I put it in front of you and it says, hey, get this person XYZ by the end of day, suddenly they're like, oh, all that protocol stuff, all the stuff I was trained on goes out the window because this thing directly in front of me is rewriting that expectation. So that's recency bias. That's Parkinson's law. That's Hawthorne effect. That's 5 of my favorite just little hacks for taking control of your mind, to take control of the person and not just the machine. And I'm telling you, this is critical in this day and age because like there's an army of people out there right now actively hacking your brain. That's, software developers, it's algorithms, like they are constantly trying to rewire your brain to take actions in alignment with their desires. Take these 5 frames, these 5 code snippets, insert them, inject them into your protocol, and go forth and be awesome. Be unhackable. Go be something. I'll see you guys in the next video.